Hey guys, my name is Lilly and today I want to make a video coming from Socialist Austria again. And today's main article that I want to show you is this one here. It's a new electricity act that our politicians have planned for us. And one of the cores of this new and biggest energy reform that Austria has ever seen is that they want to make a social tariff for electricity, which is going to intend to help low-income earners. The government is bringing the biggest energy reform in 20 years to the finish line. Reactions have been mixed. The social tariff is intended to help low-income earners. Owners of private PV systems and electric car drivers are likely to be less pleased. The government was already behind schedule. Without a new law, massive fines from the EU are threatened. Now, however, the coalition is submitting the new Electricity Industry Act for review. Grid costs to be shared more fairly in the future. It's about a fair distribution of costs because grid costs will skyrocket in the coming years and we want to cushion this for consumers. But not for everybody, just for a special group. Therefore, in the future, producers and private feeders will also be required to contribute to the grid costs. So if you have installed a PV system on your roof, paid it with your own money, now they also want you to pay for the grid costs. In addition, the charges are now becoming more flexible. This means that those who use electricity during times of low grid usage will pay less. So now it really depends on how much electricity is in the system. It can be that you pay more for electricity in the night or in the evening than you would pay, let's say, during daytime in midday when there's a lot of solar electricity in the grid. So that's something which comes as a side effect with the renewable energies because the problem is the volatility of the electricity going up and down with wind and solar. This was not the case 30 years ago when we just made electricity out of natural gas, coal and nuclear energy, for example, because then you always have a steady electricity supply. Also with hydro you have a better and more steadily electricity supply, and as long as you don't have a drought, of course. So that's the big downside of renewables, that everything is becoming volatile and then also the prices change during the day. And this is what they want to pass on to the customer now. Peak capping is also planned. In the event of a threatened grid overload, only up to 60% of the power may be fed into the grid, and that's for PV users. So if there's too much of electricity during noontime, then you can only feed 60% anymore, and that means that a lot of investment plans of PV users now have become just, garbage, because now your investment is going to take a longer time to pay back, right? A social tariff is also planned. Those exempt from the ORF fee, which is the Austrian television fee, will have access to it in the future. They will pay 6 cents net per kilowatt hour. Criticism is coming from the renewable energy sector. The plan to introduce additional grid fees for feed-in providers is not only short-sighted but also highly risky. Who will be willing to provide flexibility if that is precisely what is being penalized? Feeding in electricity is already hardly attractive for many, and new fees will make it even less economical. The PV industry even fears that the planned law will drive up electricity prices. Austria already has the second highest feed-in component in the entire European Union. Now let's just make a small excursion who is exempt from the Austrian state television fee. Exempt persons who receive certain social benefits, such as unemployment benefits, emergency assistance, student allowance, apprenticeship allowance, care allowance, pension minimum income, or childcare allowance. And also right now, if you have a PV system on your roof and you feed into the grid, you will only get like 4.5 cents anymore, and that's not a lot. And here are a couple of comments which were just below this article that I just read to you, and I found them very interesting, so I want to read them to you. So one commenter writes, the electricity fed into the grid from PV systems doesn't just disappear. It's used by somebody else, mostly your neighbor, who then pays grid fees again. That means there's a double tax, and that means we are being ripped off twice. Yeah, that's actually the case. The next commenter is writing, Austria continues to work on implementing absolute communism. The underachievers now even get electricity handed to them, while the others naturally have to pay for it. No wonder Austria is going downhill. Doing nothing is the cheapest thing you can do in this country. The next commenter is writing, I'm so fed up with constantly being lied to by the politicians, especially by the previous and the current government. First, we were practically forced to switch to solar and heat pumps. Natural gas was demonized. They promised not only subsidies, but also the ability to feed the electricity we generate into the grid, which would bring some profit. On top of that, the switch was said to be an important step in saving the environment. Many citizens trusted them, invested a lot of money into solar panels and heat pumps, and even took out loans in some cases. And now all energy customers are supposed to pay for the grid expansions, and social welfare recipients get electricity for almost for free, and the energy corporations will definitely pass this social tariff on to the paying customer again. Once again, it's the hard-working people who lose. Instead of obligating the energy corporations, mostly state-owned, to finance the grid expansion, the burden is dumped onto the customer. It's an outrageous disgrace what this former and current government is getting away with. Unbearable. We need new elections with new people in charge. The next comment is also interesting. This is nothing more than the next rip-off. Energy fees have risen massively in the recent years, and now electricity grid fees are supposed to go up as well. Of course, in a way that the average citizen can barely understand. Sure, there will be exceptions and exemptions again, but in Austria you increasingly get the impression that you're better off not working and just living off the state. It's simply no longer enjoyable to keep contributing to society and constantly be punished for it. The energy companies are raking in billions in profit, yet even more money is being demanded from the citizens. For what exactly? None of them are at risk of going bankrupt. At the end of the day, this is nothing but a hidden tax increase. And the government takes us for fools when it tries to present these measures are necessary and fair. And there's also one last comment of a guy. He's saying he has a PV system, and he's saying that if this grid fee will be introduced, he will just stop feeding electricity into the grid, and instead he will be just hooking up two 5,000 watt heaters to heat his garage during summertime or the outside, no matter the season, just so that he doesn't feed electricity into the grid. So he just wants to have the electricity for himself, which is going to save him 17.5 cents per kilowatt hour right now. And a lot of PV owners are now really fed up because of this, and they are saying they don't want to feed in their solar energy into the grid anymore. And that's completely understandable. So yeah, this is what they have planned for us Austrians. And I have to say, I'm really surprised. I've never thought that they would socialize the electricity tariff. Wow. I'm just blown away. So just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it's getting even worse. So yeah, really interesting. And at the same time, they want us to work now until 70 years. So that's the big plan for Austrians. They now also want to increase the health insurance contributions for pensioners. Meanwhile, more and more companies file for bankruptcy in Austria. Then our healthcare system is failing. Here, a woman waited for a knee surgery for half a year. But then 2 days before the surgery, the hospital cancelled the surgery. And now this woman has to dig deep into her wallet and find an alternative treatment. Yeah, so a lot of people are switching to private doctors and private surgeries. And sometimes they have to take up loans or even sell their cars. Here they are saying that actually the government is collecting enough of taxes. So the revenue of taxes is increasing, but still the debts and the budget gaps are continuing to grow. I don't know what our politicians are doing with the money, but it's not good. Tax revenues are booming, yet the government still can't get its deficit under control. The new debt is now 400 million euros higher than in the period last year. Next, Trump has put apparently a 30% tariff on European goods. And that's of course not good for our economy. And yeah, I don't think we will get out of the recession very soon. Here there's an article about smokers, and they are saying smokers are supposed to fill the EU cash-strapped coffers. The union urgently needs more funding for the coming years and is seeking new sources of revenue. In addition to an additional tax on high-revenue companies, tobacco and nicotine products are also expected to contribute more to the EU budget in future. High debt. France wants to cancel 2 public holidays. To reduce the national high debt, the French Prime Minister is resorting to unusual measures. Among other things, he wants to cancel 2 public holidays. Yeah, I don't think the French people are pleased about this plan. Also, I don't think they will have it because French people are known to demonstrate a lot and they don't take crap from their politicians. Meanwhile, the inflation rose to 3.3% in June in Austria. And also, last time I reported about a teacher who refrained from using the digital ID to put in the grades into the Socrates system. And she now has lost her job. So now you are forced to use the digital ID Austria. Otherwise, you cannot work as a teacher anymore. So little by little, they try to bring people to use the digital identity Austria. So yeah, guys, this is it from Socialist Austria. Yeah, really sad situation. And it's getting more and more absurd every week. It's crazy. Alright, guys, so this is it for today. I really want to thank you for watching. Also, did you know that there are some rare earths in fire steels? Apparently there are a couple of rare earths in fire steels, and now because of a trade ban or some kind of tariff, it has been getting more difficult to actually import fire steels. So if you want to support my channel, maybe purchase one of these things. Then you get a really nice fire steel with high quality made in Austria. And this fire steel is not produced by me, but by my friend, the Austrian knife guy. And he's selling these really great fire steels on Amazon.com. So if you want to get one, please support my channel by purchasing this fire steel via my personal Amazon link. It will not cost you more because of clicking onto the link, but you will support my channel with a small commission, and that is highly needed because actually YouTube is shadow banning my videos, and also right now the monetization that I get from these videos is really laughable. So if you want to support my channel, get this fire steel or any other product by clicking on my Amazon link first. So that would be great, and I would highly appreciate your support. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and stay tuned till next time.